All right, hi, Paul Sakis. Good News Planet, Pause the World for Peace, and Naeem Mahmood actually is a friend for a long time. His dad was uh, very close to me, and taught me a lot about the Muslim community, and I guess with roots in Pakistan, and and roots in the game of cricket. And so he took me to the mosques and so on. So, Reverend Paul Slakis, Naeem, good morning. Hi, how are you?
Good morning, Paul. I'm doing great. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me on the show.
And Naeem is in Puerto Rico, I believe now. Is that so?
I am. Down in sunny Puerto Rico.
There you go. Okay. And
Yeah.
Naeem says he starts this off, and I want to get right on it because I never heard of what he just said to me. I said, Naeem, it looks like you're standing. Okay. And he says, and what did you say?
I said I love standing for my interviews and my meetings too, the virtual ones, but the sitting is the new smoking.
All right. So it was the sitting is the new smoking that kind of took me in wondering why you would make that statement.
Yeah, well, it's actually not even my statement, but I definitely it resonates with me for sure because so much of us are just sedentary so much, right? And especially in today's world, post COVID, we're not obviously going to the office as much, and most people are we have the luxury of being able to work from home, most of us, but also again, there's always a catch, right? So I think most people, myself included before, I would just find myself sitting a lot and being a little passive and my energy would drop and I didn't feel as good. So I tried to start standing up more. So I heard that phrase a few times from other podcasts I like to listen to. I was like, oh wow, that makes sense.
All right. Well, I agree with you, and so does the New York Times science section. With
Yeah.
their fact that to keep moving is a longevity opportunity uh,
Yeah.
for humanity. In fact, walking, everybody's not everybody. Lots of people. I'm not into it, but I got they're into the 10,000 steps story, right? And it seems to make sense because you move your head, you move your arms, you move your legs, you get it going. So, all right. Well, it's been a great interview, Naeem, and
We're
I appreciate it.
we're
I
done here, Paul. I'm
held
gonna
the,
go. I'm gonna go take a seat over there in the corner now and go back to my regular work.
no, I'm going to stand up. I'm standing up. So the only
There you go.
this is not my best angle. Um, there's two of me down here. So my question is because I'm not walking enough. All right, let's get to the real heart of this matter. And the heart of this matter is you. Tell us about you and a little bit about your background or whatever. And you have a podcast. You were kind enough to put me on it right before our peace day. Um, what's going on? What are you up to?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was great to have you on the podcast. My podcast is called Peak Humans. It's all about talking to awesome people like you, right? And kind of understanding what are their thoughts, their habits, their behaviors, their mindset. Most of my work is in the mindset world. I have a peak performance coaching company. I worked for Tony Robbins for many years. So I've been part of the reason I like to stand too is because to me, I tell my girlfriend, life is a peak performance sport, right? So you gotta be as much as you want to be mentally engaged, you also want to be physically engaged too in life. But I got to it when I first started my career. I was working on Wall Street. I was working at a fund and kind of doing the regular thing. My family was doing, and a lot of friends were doing, right? Going up the ladder of Wall Street and working in finance. And I was like, I don't really like this very much. And I was sitting a lot right behind a computer all day. So I was like, what do I really want to do with my life? And then I started kind of getting into personal growth work and reading books. And like a new concept to me was actually, what do I actually want? Before I was asking, what should I do? Which is what most people ask, right? What should I do? Right. I was like, oh, what should I do to make my dad or my family or society happy? Right. Or versus like, what do I actually want to do with my life? So that was kind of a new thought and a new way of thinking about things that really made a big spin for my life.
Wow, wow, wow. And so, uh, how long you doing what you're doing now?
So I've been doing it for over 10 years now. I worked for Tony for 5 years and I started working from when I was in my late 20s. I think I was like 26 or 27. And then now I'm 37 and I've been building my business for the last 5 years now on my own down here in Puerto Rico. I have a business partner as well, but I've been doing that for 5 years now.
And so how does somebody utilize your service? What do they do?
Yeah, so there's a few ways. The main primary way is I do trainings for companies. So again, when I was working for Tony, it was the same thing. Companies would want Tony, but Tony's really expensive. So then he had people like me. He had 5 people that were hand selected by him in the team that they trained on tools Tony knows how to use. So then instead of Tony going out for $1 million, they would send us out for a lot less. But we still were really good at what we did, obviously, because we were trained and we learned the skills. So I'd go to companies like Salesforce or just a real estate company in Milwaukee or wherever, and I would do a peak performance psychology training for the executive team and also the core team as well, and help them overcome whatever blocks are getting in the way. Right? And we all have, whether that's a sales team, whether that's the employees blame the boss and the boss blames the employees, right? So it's really kind of helping people kind of get over their blocks and also communicate better as well. So to answer your question, the main thing that we help people with is trainings for companies and their teams to really upgrade their mindset, communicate better, have better leadership, have higher energy, and also improve their habits and their mindset, ultimately to get better results. And obviously a lot of that times is to increase sales or to increase the revenue of the business. Not always. Sometimes it's just to have better communication and better teamwork as well.
In my management career, I blame everybody. And and I believe that actually is one of the answers to the question. Because when you blame everybody, I don't actually, I just am saying this right now. However, I believe this. Because when you blame everybody, then everybody is equal, one. And then two, the reality of I write these words often, we are all in this together. And the moment, and this, with our peace outreach and so on and so forth, when everybody is in it together, of which, I promote this one world moon picture of Mother Earth. There actually literally are the facts. This is the facts. We are all in this. You and I are on Mother Earth, wherever you may be physically, but we're brother, we're Homo sapien, do you sometimes maybe approach a company that, in this kind of mindset? How do you, because it is true that this one might be upset with this one and that one's upset with that one. How do you go about that? How do you get peak performance?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I agree with you, what we just said too, right? Ultimately, that is the ethos that I want to embrace myself and also with my team and also with companies, right? Like we're all on the same team and we all want to rise up together and also grow together, right? So, and hold each other accountable. So I agree with that too. To answer your question about how to achieve peak performance, it's a big question, right? Like there's a lot of moving parts, but I'd say one of the key pieces, again, it starts with our belief systems, right? A lot of times we just don't believe it's possible, right? And again, I know it seems cliche and kind of basic, but if I don't believe it's possible for me to have a better relationship with my coworker or to make a sale or to achieve my goals for the year in the company or whatever it might be, it's like, it's not even going to start, right? If I'm not to go deep, right? But if Israel and Palestine, they don't believe they can connect and make peace with each other and understand each other's sides, it's a non-starter, right? So I'd say belief systems is really where it starts, but most people don't really identify or understand what their belief is, or let alone appreciate and acknowledge and understand maybe somebody else's, because obviously we're not going to have the same belief systems, and that's okay. But learning to acknowledge and appreciate and understand them, even if they're different, is also an important piece.
Yeah, I am so much on that same page with you. And with some of these concerning scenarios that we're living in, people get so riled. I'll use an example because I just got, I'm an interfaith minister. I'm a minister. I'm a Jew from birth, you could say, and my family, in essence, were instrumental in creating Israel. Actually, and so very Jewish, built temples, whatever we did, worked for Hadassah, blah blah blah. However, I've always been me personally, Paul, and my mother, the Power of Positive Thinking. She gave me a book when she was a librarian at Temple in Well, the biggest temple in New York. was always a humanist in essence, because we're all brothers and sisters. And I sent out in a newsletter a, well, I guess it was a cartoon of sorts. I won't even call it a cartoon. It's a serious satirical cartoon.
Yeah.
A Palestinian young person and an Israeli person with a flag on their back up in heaven, and it says, and they're holding hands, and it says no borders. See, I don't believe these borders are a pain in the butt. They
Yep.
there's segregation at the highest of level, enough
Yep.
to say this land is your land, this land is my land, and nobody's land is anybody's land. Why? Why are we?
Yep.
I don't know. We're getting to political, but what's your thought?
No, I agree with you. I agree. I love that. Going back to your original thing that you said before, it's like it's the oneness, right? I love the fact you're an interfaith minister where you're not just Jewish, you're not just about one religion, you bring all of them together. I think that's beautiful. Right? I think our mind, and again, going back to the mindset piece, which is I work with people on, is our mind a lot of times is looking for difference versus sameness, right? So I love that you're looking for the sameness where it is true, like we don't need a border, we don't need all these different things that separate us. But again, it's really the mind, and it's really fear, right? And fear is obviously part of being a human. And that's where we have to train ourselves and learn how to use fear for us versus have it being used against us, right? Just like technology, right? Technology is a great thing if we use it for us, but it also could be weaponized against us, right? People are scared of AI and what it could do. And it is true, right? We could use it the wrong ways and it could be used against us. And same with money, right? Same story, right? Money's not a bad thing. It only becomes a bad thing again if we use it for the wrong reasons and we use it for against ourselves. So I think the same thing with our mind and seeing things differently versus together. Same story over there. I would say.
I just realized this morning somehow. I just realized that I think it's new. Well, I know it's new. Uh,
Uh-huh.
on the Zoom call that you and I are on right now, utilizing Zoom, and so many, I guess, are utilizing Zoom,
Yeah.
where that we used to have, and maybe it was a week ago, but I didn't realize it. We had down on the bottom here between mute and stop video and security, share screen, summary, we used to have participants and then
Mm.
apps and then more. And so participants, you could see when somebody got on. Participants is gone now from the bottom of the screen. And
Yeah.
you know what's there now?
What's there?
AI companion.
Yep. There you go. I see it there too now. It's pretty wild.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. So I guess I don't have to talk to anybody ever again. I can just hit that AI companion and I'm in the life here. And I just got another thing from actually an Indian Southeast Asian group called Inner Happiness. Um, and they just sent a model who was created from AI.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, she had all the attributes of a great model, in addition to physically being extraordinary, had a brilliance in what she had to say. But the fact of the matter is, I can't go hug her.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Now, what good is it?
Yeah. It's so true, right? The humanity isn't there, unfortunately,
How
or
about
fortunately, right?
in your work? How do we? How are you negotiating this? Let's use AI. What the heck?
Mhm.
Because I imagine
Yeah.
it's being brought up in your work. How are you proceeding with that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I'd say the same way again it's a tool, right? And using it because it is very useful, right? So if you use it the right ways, so we use it for a lot of things to optimize our Zoom calls like this with clients, or for marketing, or for understanding data better, or for just organizing our own data better. A lot of our clients actually started reaching out to us about AI, and again, same thing, they have doubts and fears about it, right? Because it's kind of like cryptocurrency, right? People are skeptical of that, which is understandable. So all new technologies have this kind of a little bit of doubt and skepticism behind it in the beginning, just like the internet did back in the early 90s when it first came out, right? So same with AI now. So one thing that we're doing with a lot of our clients that are business owners, we're helping them actually integrate more AI into their business. but also, again, we start with the mindset, because again, they're not going to use it if they have the fears and the doubts or all these stories about how it might not be useful. So we kind of start helping them to kind of shift their mindset about it. And then very like low hanging fruit to start actually using it a little bit in their business, so they can actually start to get a taste and feel of how it could be helpful, right? And the cool thing is, it doesn't need to be like this huge thing, right? It's like little automations. Like you can start automating your workflows that saves a lot of time and effort and energy and takes some of the human error out of it. And then just like that, it's like a huge difference. And then some people want to start using it more and more. So that's one simple way that we're starting to use it in our business, and also for some clients as well that want to start dipping their toes with it as well.
Naeem, I can see that you're really good at what you do. I can see that some corporation and or individual will benefit from your experience, your concern, your brilliance of life and how to proceed in a life way and in a business kind of approach. You're a good guy.
Thank
Let
you.
let me ask, just because each one of these interviews are a big project when we edit them right now. We're like stressed and strained here with our Peace Day activities. Let me ask just the last one. What's peace for you? And then two, how do people get back to you and information like that? First, what's peace for you, Naeem?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I would say peace for me, it starts within ourselves. So I'd say it starts within me and just connecting with my heart, connecting with my body, connecting with my soul and my spirit, whatever you want to call that. And just having that inner stillness and being present, right? Just kind of, I would start there. And then when I can have that peace and love and whatever emotion, again, we all have different values and emotions that we value more. Some people value love and excitement and fun and peace or whatever, but just whatever those emotions are that feel great to you. I'm closing my eyes so I can attune more to my own self. And then from there, when we can have that more peace within ourselves, then I can go out and be more peaceful with Paul, right? I can be more peaceful with my girlfriend. I can be more peaceful with my family and friends. So the wild part is, again, most people can't have peace with themselves, let alone their family and friends. Like, how can we expect peace to happen in like a bigger community or like in the world, right? So I think I love, I don't know if it was Gandhi or somebody who said it, right? It's got, well, Gandhi said we got to be the change we want to see. So I think we have to start with ourselves, and that's the quote, right? Like, if you want to change the world, change yourself, right? So I think we first got to start by changing ourselves and cultivating inner peace through meditation practices or journaling practices or things like that help us do that. And it's not a one-time thing, it's a consistent process to keep building that muscle. And then I think once we can do that, then I think peace will ripple out more into the world. To answer your question about how people can reach out to me, they can reach me on the podcast, Peak Humans. It's on the Apple Store or Spotify and other podcast channels. They could also go to my website, naeemmahmood.com. I'm sure maybe we could put it in the show notes so I don't have to spell the name out, or maybe my name will be here in the podcast title as well, or the interview title. But my website as well. Also social media. I'm across YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. But I'd say the podcast and the website are probably the two best places to connect to me.
Naeem, thank you, my friend. I
Absolutely, Paul.
really enjoy speaking with you. You take care, and I look forward to seeing you again, and your girlfriend and your whole family. I'm crazy about them. Thanks,
Thank
Naeem.
you, Paul.
Take care.